What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel.
Welcome.
So today we're going to be talking about the Overwatch numbers. Do these numbers actually mean anything?
What do you mean by that?
And what I mean by that is all of the numbers in the game. We're going to be talking about damage, tank mitigation, as well as healing. Do any of these numbers actually matter in the game? And the answer is yes and no. But anyways, take care. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. I know it's like, well, okay, that's like a cop-out answer. But the thing is that the enemy team on this gameplay in particular, the tank and in the damage department, numerically, it's way better. You can see all the numbers right here at the end of the gameplay that you guys are seeing right now. Numerically, all of the enemies' stats, with the exception of some of like the heals, which are like not that far off, but having like both of the DPS do significant amount of more damage, as well as the damage mitigation on the other tank is much higher than us. But at the same time, we absolutely steamrolled this team, and you wouldn't have think that we actually rolled them this hard. And why does that actually happen in any of the games?
Why?
So to really sum it up, for example, let's look at every single category. So for example, if the tanks are just shooting at each other, does that actually matter that much? Versus a tank that is actually targeting a target that they can actually eliminate. So let's look at this example over here. So let's say that one person is playing Roadhog. The amount of damage Roadhog deals if he lands that one hook and eliminates a squishy target is far more valuable than them shooting into a shield or just shooting into a tank, because the tank is going to obviously have more HP. Depending on the tank, it could matter a little bit more, but for the most part, the thing is that depending on the target, they're going to have less and or more HP, and the amount of numbers in terms of damage that you deal can actually be a huge factor of like, does it actually matter? So let me give you a scenario that you can understand. If the enemy team has, let's say, one support or one DPS that has 200 HP, and let's say they also have a tracer, right? If your DPS eliminates the tracer and eliminates one person that has 200 HP, that's a total of 350 damage total, right? But if you look at it at the point of the other person doing the same exact amount of damage, right? Let's say one person on your team eliminates a tracer and a 200 HP target. 2 heroes eliminated, right? Versus the, let's say, soldier or Torbjorn that's just shooting at a tank that does 350 damage. Against, let's say, a Roadhog, right? The Roadhog can literally hit one heal button and all of that damage that you dealt doesn't matter. That's not winning a team fight. And you might be thinking, okay, so then elims matter more. Not exactly the case, because certain things will obviously lead up to elimination that don't really show in terms of the numerical stats. This is why consistently when people ask me, like, you know, which characters do I recommend as a healer, I always say stay far away from Moira. And it's not even just like the meme of Moira's never heal. The reason why is that I think Moira doesn't really secure kills as well in terms of being able to have that feel of a massive impact that, let's say, an Ana player can or a Kiriko player can. The impact in terms of being able to be, I guess, more impactful is a lot harder to feel on certain characters than others. And some of these may not show in terms of numerical. This is why consistently, I've seen even on like TikTok and other clips where people are like posting their insane Moira stats. They'll have like way more damage than the DPS, but the damage that you're throwing in that, when you throw that orb in and it's dealing that 200 amount of damage that it can deal, it's not going to secure kills as much as like another DPS that could maybe get that like 200 damage in, if that makes any sense. And that's the reason why you see people like kind of complaining about, like, you know, DPS Moiras, because, or even Moiras that are playing DPS, they'll be like, dude, I'm doing way more damage. How come we're not winning? Well, you're not winning because that damage does not essentially matter. Another situation that like numerical stats you wouldn't be able to see, because Ana's sleep dart, right? That hits for only 5 damage. If they put a target to sleep, that secured the kill, right? That was amazing. That actually led them to actually getting the victory. You can see the damage. This is on the first one. Let's go ahead and skip out to where we actually play a hog and basically feed our brains out for a little bit, but we still take the dub. Like I said, the damage numbers over here, you can see that the tank numbers, as far as what I put up towards the end of the game, I had a little bit more damage.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
But that damage MIT, the mitigation, as in like, basically that's usually like shields, barriers, any like overhealth, that kind of stuff, that's where that MIT MIT comes in. Like the other's tank, if we add both the numbers together, and you can't really just add the numbers together with the MIT in terms of tank mitigation, but that number matters too. Don't just look at, oh, well, their tank right now dealt less damage than mine. That other number does matter because that's like a barrier. That's you saving someone from actually getting eliminated. But one thing that I learned from Overwatch, this is something I learned in Overwatch 1 back in the day when we had like, I have gold damage. Back in the day in Overwatch 1, we didn't have all this new information of all the damage, the heals, the mitigation. We had to go off of what was called, I have gold damage, therefore I'm doing stuff. And it was a lot more toxic because you would think in your head, okay, I have gold damage.
I'm not just like the rest of you. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I am better.
But this is one thing that I learned from another player in just ranked in general. This is back in Overwatch 1 days. No matter what happens, every single team will always have a person with gold damage. The losing team will always have a person with the most amount of damage or whatever the case may be. You know, that's just gonna happen. But now that we can compare both of the numbers, it lets you kind of switch it up. But time and time again, I see people looking at these numbers and they feel like it does matter. And it matters to a certain extent.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is it matters because let's say you have 0 eliminations, 0 damage, and you're playing like Widowmaker Hanzo. Sometimes people will start complaining about that, but certain characters like that, they don't have a consistent way to do damage where sometimes they may be able to pop off. You telling them to swap, maybe in the next 3 seconds, they would have gotten a double kill. Sometimes it takes a while for certain things to go right for certain characters, and that's just the nature of Overwatch. Some characters are more consistent at dealing damage, because would you rather have a Torbjorn that has like a bunch of damage and he's just shooting into a tank shield? I mean, yeah, he's effective, right? It's breaking the shield so your team can do stuff, but that person that is playing like the Widowmaker Hanzo that might not be able to do something for a while, later they might be able to do something, but that's just trying to get you guys in the mindset that these numbers don't always mean everything, because certain characters can feed. Like me as Roadhog, I have no shield. The enemy team is going to get more damage numbers, but I can push one button and the soldier can put a whole clip into me, and I push one button, right?
Please, please, do not push the button. You have no idea what it...
So that damage does not matter. And the thing with Overwatch 2 that's actually a very interesting thing that some people don't know about is that the tanks, obviously they're going to have more HP, but you actually build less ult charge off of them. So shooting into tanks might not be the greatest way to actually build ultimates even. But some characters like Roadhog can definitely be an ultimate batter. So them getting more ultimates, if they're not securing the kills, right? Like let's say Torbjorn gets an ultimate, he's thrown all like the fire goo on the ground, it hits everyone for like, you know, hundreds of damage. So you can see this is where the game ends, and this is where I want to pause it for all the numbers here. This is the, pretty much, I think this is like the exact same numbers, yeah, that we showed up at the very end of the game. Look at these numbers.
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
And focus in on the amount of eliminations here too, because we have ourselves, we're almost at 6k, but the enemy tank has a lot more mitigation. Again, those stats matter. Can you just add them up together? Nope. Not necessarily, because the difference between a Doomfist's mitigation and, you know, a barrier that's actually helping your entire team, those are two different numbers. And look at this, I only had two chain hooks in the whole gameplay here. But in terms of the eliminations, I got 2 more limbs. Those 2 eliminations on Roadhog, if I hook one squishy, their whole team can disengage, they're walking backwards, and that one set of 200 damage that I dealt just to get one like elimination on a DPS or whatever, their tank could be walking like all the way back to spawn, right? Because they're like, okay, we lost one, guys, let's regroup up, let's not like push forward, let's give them the space for that short duration, right? And then on top of that, what can happen is, let's say during that moment that the enemy tank is walking back, because I got one hook and it landed, I dealt 200 damage to the target's dead. Our soldier, let's say if we had a soldier, they were shooting the tank the whole time they were walking back, they get like 500 damage. You're also letting the enemy team build up their ult charge because they're re-healing up the damage that you dealt, whereas these insta-kill targets, the healers aren't able to actually build up ultimate, so it could actually backfire to actually deal damage but not secure the kill. Because look at these stats numerically. You see over here, actually you guys can't even see my mouse, but anyways, you guys can see both the soldier and the McCree over here both have 14 eliminations, right? We have one teammate on my team, they got 21 eliminations, but their damage is a lot lower.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
So that's where the whole prioritizing those targets, getting those eliminations can be stronger than just the raw numbers, if that makes any sense. Because shooting a tank, well, if you do win the tank fight, like I've mentioned in a video where I dropped talking about Bastion and get certain compositions. For example, if you play Bastion and you literally eliminate the tank and they have no revive instantly, you can actually gain the huge amount of advantage by eliminating their tank first. But a lot of times it's better to potentially kill the squishy. So hopefully this video makes sense where I'm trying to explain that the damage damage does matter, but it doesn't sometimes, if that makes any sense. So overall, damage, numbers, and all these numbers, even the heals, because sometimes as a healer, they will complain, right? This is the thing that I've seen before too. I guess we can keep on playing some gameplay here, because I got a little bit more to talk about. But the thing that I've noticed is, like, sometimes people will be like, dude, look at the heal numbers. If they're playing Hanzo Widowmaker, you're probably not going to be able to out-heal when they one-shot, right? So people will complain to the healers, I'm not getting enough healing. It's like, oh, I cannot out-heal an ultimate, or like, I cannot out-heal certain things in the game. Like, if a soldier in headshots, how are you going to out-heal that, right?
But that's simply not possible.
There's no way, once you're using a railgun, that is. Like, there's no way to outplay it. So keep that in mind when you are climbing up the ranks, and you can actually do a little bit better when you're looking at these numbers. Don't always factor it into, like, this guy's swap, he's doing 0 damage. Check the eliminations. If you're winning, usually that means something's going right, but sometimes just winning, people will use that as like a cop-out. They're like, we're winning though, aren't we? And that means that they think that they're doing good. But yeah, keep that in mind when you're playing the game. This is just something I wanted to make in terms of video, because there's time and time again where it's both times. Sometimes people complain about my numbers, sometimes people will complain about someone on my team's numbers. The other team will be like, this person's throwing, but that's usually in the DPS Moira's department. But the numbers don't mean everything. Securing the eliminations is far more important than just the raw numbers. Okay. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you didn't, subscribe, turn that bell if you want to see more. Maybe in the theory crafting department, in terms of, like, how to get better at the game, because this is all what the purpose of these videos are, because they help me understand the game a little bit more. But anyways, take care. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.